revisiting my grandma's house. It's back there. It's the blue one in the back. And this is the walk that her and I used to do when I was a kid. And this whole area over here that's houses used to be all field. And her and I would walk hand in hand to the little grocery store. There was no sidewalks or houses like you see here. It was actually right through this field was this tree. And my mom and my grandma's favorite movie was Pollyanna. So my grandma called it the Pollyanna tree. And well, basically it was amazing, huge willow tree that got taken down for this development over here, you know, all these houses near my grandma. But anyway, I grew up in this neighborhood, and my grandma's house is very important to me. And well, I'm just revisiting it today. And so I'm gonna go to the grocery store. It's slightly different than it used to be, but almost, they have no sidewalk here, it's really shit. And so I remember taking my grandma here in her wheelchair, and she, woo! That's a little hard. Okay, not too bad. I was being dramatic. But anyway, it was a little hard on my grandma in her wheelchair. It hurt, like her bouncing around a little bit, I think. But she was like not getting out of the house at all. So it was kind of like when you're taking care of someone that has severe disability, like you do kind of rally and take a risk once in a while, just so you can have like a great experience. And so that was our last outing. I think it was the end of February, 2022, 23. Gosh, yeah. My grandma died like 2 years ago. Okay, so, and I found her dead in her home, and it was really, really hard. It was totally to be expected, and I just prepared for it, but it was so hard. Oh my God. Anyway, so I took her on this wheelchair here, and basically where these storage units are right here is where her and I used to walk. My grandma and I used to walk. And then we would spit out about here, and then I'm gonna flip the camera around. And then we'd go over here, and I'm gonna make a run for it. So I'm going across the highway and going to the store here. And this is where, it's a little store, and her and I would walk here, and she'd buy me candy. And she was like a second mom to me. And this neighborhood is only like 5 miles from where I grew up for 10 years. So revisiting old places and considering my roots, I guess, in Spokane. And just the memories like that I had with my grandma, holding her hand, and she would just let me like pick up like whatever I wanted, as far as, you know, what are those candies that you, Lick-a-Sticks, Jawbreakers, what else? All, you know, like anything I wanted at this grocery store. What? So pretty fun. Back in the day, it just said Barney's. It just said Barney's on the front of the store. So yeah, you know, I guess a few things to say about my grandma is like she found so much beauty in like small things, and she created like this whole microclimate of, an oasis, because she was a gardener. So you can kind of see like, this is the suburbs, right? I mean, it wasn't always this way. But even when things developed around my grandma, she still had her yard that she cultivated. She loved her squirrels, her birds, and took so much pleasure in all the species of trees around her. So she really was a nature gal, even though she lived here in the suburbs of Spokane. So I suppose, summing this up, I mean, if you have both the honor and the burden of watching a loved one perish, I think overall, like, if I was to just put like a really grateful sort of label on all this, I would say, well, my grandma was a second mom to me. She helped raise me. She made me who I am. She was like my champion. And overall, like, that love made me exactly who I am. She like celebrated my personality, my humor, all the little funny little things costumes and dances I did for her when I was 4, She was at my house all the time, 5 miles away from here, and cooking for me in the evenings. And she was really helpful. And she also like knew to give my parents their space, even though they loved having her around. She just was like, okay, well, I'm going home, and just kind of left like we wanted more, like she left us wanting more, like a gracious lady. And she always looked her best. And yeah, I mean, up until her 80s was working in the yard. It was the unfortunate stroke that she had that really changed everything. After the stroke, right after I heard about it, I hit the ground just weeping. And I knew, in a sense, that it might be the end. Woo! Okay. But my grandma's strong. And actually made a lot of great memories. And it was a slow, like, 8-year decline after that. And so, really lucky to have that time. A lot of it, she was taking care of herself quite well until maybe the last 2 years. When I watched my grandma die, it changed me, and thankfully I could move in with her, because her other caregivers, my aunt and my mom, needed some time off, time to rest. And I said, my kids can help themselves, and I will move in. And it was hard. I missed a few things about home, and I got tired too, so I go home and then get relieved. All caregivers need some relief, and it was so hard. So if you watch a loved one die, I certainly believe it will change you, and also it puts a whole new perspective on everything. I mean, there's just that feeling of, this could be the last time I see this person. How ought we how ought we part? And moving forward, I just want to keep that in mind. I want to remember that life is so precious, and this moment may be the exact best moment of my life, and the last time I get to see people I love, all those things. Crossing the street, and just overall feeling really grateful.